Hey everyone, welcome back to the other video of Java wherein we are going to discuss a new problem of LeetCode. So the question number is 263 and it's saying ugly number. So the ugly number is basically the number which is having the factors limited to 2, 3 and 5. Any number apart from having factors apart from these three numbers 2, 3 and 5 is not going to be an ugly number. So we need to build a logic around that whether the number is going to be ugly number or not given by the user. So it's quite a simple problem. Like I mentioned, it's going to be a beginner level problem, so you just need to have a prerequisites of some basic concepts like a for loop and that how you can take the input from the users. So basis on that you can build the logic, and it's just a simple logic building that we need. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the problem. We will firstly try to understand the logic that we need to create, and basis on that we will try to build the code. So I'm gonna be explaining the things in detail, so just stick to this video and you will get to learn quite many concepts of Java in this particular video. So like I mentioned, like what exactly is the ugly number? As we know that the factors needs to be limited to 2, 3 and 5. So just an example, you know the number 16 is having the factors 2 cross 2 cross 2 cross 2. So that means it's an ugly number. And understanding the fact, let's suppose we have the number as 52. So it's going to be having the factors as 2 cross 13, right? So it's comprising of 13, so that means it's not an ugly number. The factors are not limited to 2, 3 and 5. And let's suppose even if I'm taking the number as number 30, so it's going to be having the factors as 2 cross 3 and cross 5. So that means it's going to be having all three numbers 2, 3 and 5. Whether it's comprising of all three numbers or just a single number as 2 or just a single number as 3, the number is going to be the ugly number. So how do you do that? How we can build a logic around that? So the logic is quite simple. You don't need to worry about it, and it's not a rocket science which we're going to be discussing in this video. Just have to have some basic understanding. So how do we do that? How do we find out the factors? So what exactly the factor, can we say that whether a number is having this factor or not? So let's suppose just take the example of number 30 only, and what I'm doing is that I'm going to be dividing the number. How can I say that whether the 2 is going to be the factor of 30 or not? So what I need to do, I need to divide the number by 2. So in Java language we have the operator as modulus, right? So I'm going to be explaining you with the modulus operator. So let's suppose I'm doing the modulus of 30 with 2, right? So it's going to be giving me the answer as 0, right? So whenever I'm finding the number, whenever I'm finding the modulus of a number as 0 by doing the operation with the given number with number 2, 3 or 5, and I'm finding the modulus as 0, then I can say that that number is going to be the factor of that particular number. And let's suppose if I'm just trying to do the modulus of 30 with 5, instead of doing it with 2, and I'm getting the answer as 0, then I can say that the number is divisible by 5 and it's having the factor as 5, right? So that's what the condition is going to be. I just need to keep on doing the division. I just need to do the same operation. I have to put this in a loop, and I have to do this till the time I'm getting the modulus of a number as 0, right? That's what the logic I need to create. And the second thing I need to do, so let's suppose I'm having the number as let's say 50, right? So I'm going to be so I will going to be creating a loop which is going to be doing the division with all three numbers, right? Because I just need to check whether the number is divisible by 2, 3 and 5. That's the only thing that I'm worrying about. Other than that, if the number is going to be divisible by 7, 8 or any other number, I don't need to care about. I just need to check the condition for these three numbers. And the next thing I need to do, so this is what the condition I need to create, whether the modulus is coming as 0 or not. And next thing I need to do, so let's suppose I'm having the number as 50, right? So the very first thing is that I'm going to be starting with 2, right? So I'm going to be doing the modulus first. Yes, it's giving me the answer as 0. So the next thing is I need to do, I need to also find out the quotient. I need to find out the quotient. So how I'm going to be doing that? I'm going to be using the division operator for that. So by doing this operation, I'm going to be getting the answer as 25, right? So I need to store this value. I need to have this 25 is going to be my new number, which I need to check the operation with, because the 50 is over, right? The operation which I have done, which I wanted to do with 50 is done. And now I need to check the next question, which is going to be my new number. So I need to check whether the modulus coming out with 25 of 2 is going to be 0 or not. If the condition is true, then I can keep on doing the same operation. I'm going to be just doing this particular modulus first, and then I'm going to be doing the division operator. So 25 going to be not going to be giving me anything, right? So but basically I need to check this thing first. So as I'm not going to be getting the modulus as 0, so I need to go with the next number, which is going to be 3, right? So this time I'm going to be doing the same operation with 3. So 25 going to be doing the modulus with 3, and this time if I'm going to be getting the the answer as 0, then I can go with the operation. But this time again I'm not getting the answer as 0, so I need to switch this condition to the next number, which is going to be 5, right? So that's going to be the next operation I have to perform. So yes, this is definitely going to give me the answer as 0. So this time I need to get into the loop. I need to do the second operation, which is 25 going to be, I need to divide 25 with 5, right? So this is going to be the next operation which I need to perform. So this time I'm going to be getting the quotient as basically 5, right? So this is the next thing which I have received from by doing this operation. So I need to go with this next operation, right? So I've got the quotient as 5, so I need to continue with my operation because I'm getting the remainder by doing the modulus as 0, and I'm getting the quotient as 5. So this is the next number which I need to target, because that's going to be the factor of my number which is given by the user. So the given number by the user was 50, right? So I started with 50, I got the modulus as 0, I started getting to the loop, I did the operation as I tried to divide the number with 2, I got the new number which is 25, then I tried with 3, then I'm trying with 5. So by doing this with 5, I'm getting the remainder as 0, I'm getting the quotient as 5. So the 5 is going to be my new number, and this time I need to do the same operation. I need to divide, I need to do the modulus of 5, right? So this time I'm going to be receiving the answer as 0 once again. So this operation is done. Then again I have to perform the new task, which is 5 divided by 5, and this time I'm going to be receiving the quotient as 1. So these are the factors. So this is basically the last operation that I have done. So I need to do the repetition, I need to do these all tasks till the time I'm going to be receiving the number as 1. And yes, if the number, the final factor, the final quotient received from a given number is 1, then I can say that the number is going to be an ugly number and I can return the value as true. Otherwise, if I'm going to be receiving the quotient, like other than after performing the task with all these 3 numbers, if I'm receiving the output, the final output as something like as 3, 4, 5, or just any other number apart from 1, then I can say that the number is not an ugly number, and I can just simply return the value as false. So that's what we need to do. That's what the operation that I have to perform over here. And by doing that, I will be creating a logic. So that's what the logic, I hope I was able to explain you the logic. So I will also be explaining the same thing while doing and while creating the code over here. So just stick to this video and we will try to understand the things once again. So firstly, I'm coming back to, so this is the class which I've created, ugly number, and this is my main function. So for that thing, what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to be, so because we need to take the input from the user, so I will be just creating the object over here with the scanner class. So I'm going to be doing this thing. So this is what, okay, scanner, and this is going to be system.in, right? So this is what the class which I've imported, and so for that thing I need to import the library. Okay, so this is what we have done, and the next thing what we need to do, we also need to print out. Okay, so basically I need to print out the message first that okay, so I will be just passing on the message over here. please enter the number you want to check, right? This is the message I can print away just for the basic understanding, just for the simplicity. So okay, so as I've printed the message over here, and what I need to do, I need to use this particular object which I've created over here, and it's going to be done by using next integer, because I'm going to be taking an integer from the user, right? So this is what we have to do. So the integer number is something which is going to be received from the user. So it's going to be something needs to be passed to a particular function, because I don't want to build the complete logic inside of the main function. I just want to create a new separate function for that, a new separate method for that. So in order to do that, okay, so I will call this as check ugly. I will just, okay, so I will call this method as check ugly, right? So this is what I want to create. Okay, so just doing the proper formation. Okay, check ugly. This is something which I want to pass, right? And this particular method is going to be, giving us the, I need to firstly just pass this particular variable which is going to be received from the user, and I want to pass this particular value which I'm going to be receiving from the user to the check ugly method. And also this check ugly method going to be giving us the return value. So for that thing I need to create a string which is going to be telling me the status. So this string is something which we need to pass on to, okay, I need to create this thing over here. So the status is going to be received from this check ugly method, and I want this check ugly method to return the value as a Boolean value, so I need to convert that as well. So for that thing, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be converting that, whatever the Boolean value I'm going to be receiving from the check ugly method, to string, right? So for that thing, I just need to do a certain thing, check value off, and okay. So check value off is something which, okay, it has just removed certain things over here. Check value off, this needs to be, okay, all right, check ugly, all right, and this, whatever the value which we are receiving, so I have to, okay, so this is what we have done over here. So I believe that it's giving me the error just because of the fact that I haven't defined this particular method as of now. So let's define this method, because I'm going to be creating this check ugly method inside of this particular class only. So let's try to build the logic and let's try to define this method first. So this method needs to be static because we are going to be defining it in the same class, and I'm going to be passing on the values from the main method. So static, and it's going to be returning back the values as Boolean. So this is basically check ugly, and it's going to be basically receiving the values from the main method as integer. So that means it needs to have some number which needs to be some sort of a variable which needs to be defined over here. So it's going to be done, right? So let's try to understand what we have done as of now. And okay, so I need to system out. Okay, so this is something which we also need to do. So I need to, okay, so we're going to be doing one thing, right? So this is what we have done as of now. So let's try to understand what are the steps that we have performed. So basically I have just created a scanner, scanner object over here. I have tried to take the number from the user. So the number is basically taken from by using this object input.nextInteger, right? So this is the variable. This is definitely gonna take the variable, the number from the user. And then what I have done is I have passed on this, whatever the input that I've received from the user, to the check ugly method, which I've created over here. So this check ugly method is gonna check the number, whether it's a ugly number or not, and next, after performing that task, it's going to return back the value in Boolean. So Boolean is basically going to be true or false. So basis upon that, I need to convert that to the string data type. So once that is converted, it needs to be stored in a particular variable. For that, I have created the variable as status. So the status is going to be printed at the end of the code after doing all the evaluations. So that's what we have done as of now. So let's try to build the logic. The main part of the code is going to be starting from this point, right? So how do we do that? So let's first of all, as we have received the number over here, integer number from the user. So the next thing what we need to do. So I will have to, like I mentioned, that we need to do some repetitions for this, right? So we're going to be just performing the task repeatedly. So for that thing, firstly, I'm going to be doing the operation like as modulus, then we're going to be just doing the division. So we're just going to be keep on repeating the task. But that thing, we just need to pay attention that we're going to be doing the operation only with these three numbers. So 2, 3, and 5 are the only three numbers which we need to use. So for that thing, I can create an array over here. So for that thing, so let's just create an array over here, and this array is gonna be just containing only three variables, which is 2, 3, and 5, right? So these are the only three numbers that we need to store over here. So I'm just calling this particular array as prime. So next thing what we need to do, so okay, I'm just going to be creating a separate condition over here just to be on the safer side of the code. So this is basically called as if condition, which I'm doing. So let's suppose if I'm having the number which is less than or equals to 0, can I say that? The one is also okay, so we need to understand that one is also an ugly number. This is the condition which we have received, as you can see. So let me come back to this screen. As you can see that if the input that we are receiving from the user as 1, we can say that the output is true. The reason is simple. It is giving me the explanation that 1 has no prime factors. So therefore all of its prime factors are limited to 2, 3, and 5, because 1 is only having one single factor, which is 1 cross 1, and it can also be limited to 2, 3, and 5 by just creating 1 cross so it can also be limited to 2, 3, and 5, right? Because of its prime factors. So we can say that it's basically an ugly number. All right. So the next thing which we're gonna do over here inside of the code is we can. All right. So we need to just check whether the number is less than or equals to 0. Even if the number is coming as 0, which is gonna be the input from the user, we can just simply print the output as just enter the valid number, right? So this is something which we can create. Okay, so I will do the same thing. Enter the valid number, and with long, so it's just not the output which I need, it's not just going to be limited to this message. We also going to be returning the value over here. Return false. So this is what we want, right? This is the if condition that we have created. So let's try to build the logic inside of the main, inside of the else condition. Okay, so this is okay. I need to limit this if condition up till this point, and next thing which we want to do, we're going to be defining the else condition over here. Okay, so we are coming back to the main logic which we want to create, and for that thing let's try to build the code. Okay, so what we have done, we have defined the if condition which is less than equals to 0, and now we're going to be defining. Okay, so let's try to build the logic first. So we're going to be doing the operation. We need to use the for each loop just for the simplicity of the code. So okay, I'll explain you why exactly I'm using this for each loop. So for that thing, okay, so I'm going to be creating int. I will call this variable as I, and I need to traverse all the numbers which are inside of this array. So the for each loop is having the benefit that it's gonna point out to all the variables, to all the numbers which are stored inside of this array. Otherwise I will have to do the separate operation with the 2, 3, and 5, and I will have to manually define that, and I will have to keep on doing the same thing again and again. So the benefit of that for each loop is basically it's going to traverse 2, 3, and 5, and basis on that I can pick those values. So I will create the logic first, and then I will explain you the things once again. So okay, what I'm doing is I need to I need to put this particular thing inside of this. So the number which I've received is NUM, and I need to do the modulus with this I, right? So I'm going to be performing this particular thing over here. All right, so it's going to keep on doing the modulus till the time I have this thing coming as 0, right? So I'm going to be doing the modulus of I, of number with I, right, till the time I'm getting the values as 0. So till the time the values are coming as 0, I need to do one thing: number equals to number divided by I. That's what we want, right? So that's something which we want, and it's gonna be keep on repeating the same task inside of this while loop, and it's gonna be, you know, just doing all the operation inside of this for each loop as well, till the time the answer is gonna be coming as 1. So this means it's gonna work on all these three numbers, right? 2, 3, and 5. So let's try to understand the code now. So what my for each loop is doing, it's gonna, this variable I which I've created over here, it's gonna traverse through 2, 3, and 5, all these three numbers. Next thing, let's start with the 2 number, and whenever the 2 is gonna come, it's gonna come inside of this while loop. So the number which I've got from the user, let's suppose the number is which I've got from the user is 30. 30 is gonna do the modulus thing with the number 2. So as soon as I'm gonna be getting the number as 0, which is definitely gonna be 0, right? 30 divided by 2 is gonna give us the remainder as 0. It's gonna come inside of this while loop. Now the number 30 is gonna be doing the division once again, but this time it's gonna be returning back the quotient, right? So the quotient is gonna be 30 divided by 2 is gonna be 15, right? So the 15 is gonna be my new number. The 15 is gonna come to this point, right? So it's gonna come back, it's gonna check the condition 15 divided by 2. The answer is gonna be false, right? So it's gonna come out of this while loop, it's gonna go back to the for each loop, it's gonna go to the next number, which is 3. Now the 3 is gonna be tested once again, and 3 is gonna be checked with the modulus operator. Answer is gonna definitely come as 0. Then it's gonna do the same operation. It's gonna divide 15 divided by 3. It's gonna give me the number as 5, right? The 5 is gonna stored inside the number. Number again gonna come back to the while loop. 5 divided by 3 is gonna come back. It's gonna come as false. It's gonna come out of the while loop. Then gonna go back to the for each loop. Then the 5 is gonna come into the picture. The 5 is gonna be doing the modulus operation. It's definitely gonna give the 0. 5 is definitely gonna give the quotient as 1. So the final number which I've got over here, number as 1, right? 1 is gonna definitely come back to the modulus operator. 1 is not gonna give the answer as 0 with 5, so definitely it's gonna come out of the while loop. Also, all these three numbers has been traversed, so it's also gonna come out of this for each loop. So the numbers has been tested. This time I need to check if because I'm updating the value of number, right? You need to pay attention over here. So if the number is gonna be 1, right, I'm definitely want to return the value as true, right? That's what the logic which we have created. Else just return the value as false, right? All right, so that's what the logic is saying. I hope I was able to explain you the logic. So let's do the next thing, as we have already got the code. So let's just check if everything is correct or not. Okay, so this is the else loop. This is the else condition. It's going to end over here. My if is starting from this point and it's coming end to this point. For each has been properly defined. Number is properly defined. Everything is properly set. Okay, let me just check the last thing. Okay, so this is the method which is going to close over here. And the status is over here. So let's try to run the code. I think everything is correct as of now. We can run the code and let's try to see what's the output which we are going to be receiving. I'm running this code, executing this code. So let's try to pass on the numbers. Let's first of all try to pass some ugly numbers. Then we're going to be just making some twist, okay? Okay. So enter the number you want to check. I'm going to be just passing the number as 50, right? That's going to be state of the number is true, right? So let's try to run the other number. Okay, so what are the number which we have? Okay, so let's pass on the number as 57, right? It's now give us the answer as false, right? Yeah, it's pretty simple and it's pretty cool, right? So it's giving us the exact output that we need. So it's definitely giving us the status as true and false basis upon the things which we need. So let's try to do some twist. Let's try to pass on the number as 1, right? Let's see the output. The status is coming as true. And let's suppose try to check one more condition which we have defined. Let's try to pass the negative number. So I'm just going to be passing the number as -5. It's going to say enter the valid number. That's the extra condition that we have tried to build in our code, right? So everything is perfectly working fine, and yeah, that's it, and that's about this video. I hope I was able to explain you the logic. So I'll mention everything inside of the description box, like the code which we have written, so that you can try to access the code, and also the link to the problem of the LeetCode. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Thank you for your time. See you next time.